All right, welcome back. You're watching Wise Guys. Yeah. It's another episode. We had a couple of weeks off there because Trump was out on the campaign trail, knocking us all off schedule. But we're back, and we're better than ever. Lots to talk about this week, that's for sure. As you know, this is the show where we hit the streets and we talk to you about what you want to talk about, and then we take it to the table for the sit-down with our experts. As usual, I'm joined by my crew member, our resident knockout, Kara Castronova is with us. She's the founder of Citizens Against Political Persecution. And today it's a 2-for-1 sale. We've had plenty of great guests, lots of Italians on this show. We have had a Jewish guest before, and today we have two.
Hey.
The Liebermans join us today.
Thanks, John. This is your affirmative action program.
Matt Lieberman joins us, author and former candidate for Senate in Georgia, so we'll get to that a little later on. And the man who I'm told through the halls of Congress, Senator Joe Lieberman, joins us, great Democrat, great independent. And someone told me, Senator, that you should tell Senator Joe that he wasn't a great politician, but he was a great human being, and that's a lost art these days in Congress. So
that's a really nice thing for him to say. As one of my old buddies in Connecticut used to say, after a comment like that, you should put his name on a list of those you'd like to be considered to give your eulogy. You know? Anyway, thank you, John. That was great.
Well, look. We may be seeing or needing a eulogy for the Trump era. Many people on the left and the mass media blaming Trump. Oh, his candidates all lost. But I think there was a good, the bad, and the ugly out of it around for the country. Well, one of the great things we do on Wise Guys is we hit the streets and talk to great Americans. Kara and I did that this week. Let's take a look at what this great American had to say about the new Congress.
We had high expectations, and we definitely came up a little short of those. I think people need to step back, take a deep breath, realize we're getting a lot off the table from the Dems, and there's more to come.
I totally agree.
Kara, I thought like common sense prevailed this week.
I did too, and I feel like I'm very excited to say that Long Island had two new members of the House, George Santos and Anthony D'Esposito. So I'm really happy that Republicans, no offense guys, took back the House. I'm excited, and I think that a lot is going to get done. I don't think one party rule is good on any level, and I'm sure you both agree. You know, I'm hoping that the first thing that gets done is that the January 6th committee is completely disbanded and investigated. An investigation onto the January 6th Unselect Committee. I think deep down you guys might agree that that committee was very one-sided and unfair to a lot of people, and I don't think that ever should happen in America.
What do you think about that? Did you ever kind of see that happen before, where it was just loaded up?
Yeah, it's happened before. What I felt, and I said it publicly at that time, really there should have been an independent, nonpartisan commission to investigate what happened on January 6th. A little bit like what we did after 9/11, although it was obviously two very different situations.
Yeah.
But overall, to be honest, here, and perhaps to take a risk at this table, I thought they did a pretty reasonable job on the commission. But its life is about to end, assuming the Republican House is coming in.
Behind every great, mob movie, behind the boss, there's always this great Jewish guy.
Yeah.
And he could basically get away with saying anything to the boss because he was the idea man and the money man. So we're going to let you get away with that one.
Okay. You know what you just reminded me of? I had a dear friend from law school, Dominic Squartrito, just passed away about a year and a half ago. So Dominic was my lawyer. And people would say to me, something wrong here because it's supposed to be Italians have Jewish lawyers. Jews have Italian
You were a
lawyers,
Jew and an Italian lawyer. I like the way you think. That's why you're a great independent.
I had a great lawyer.
Matt, I say common sense was on the ballot because it seems to me like the American people and the American system kind of worked, right? Nobody likes one-party rule, so the House was taken back by the Republicans. And that was kind of the goal 6 months ago. Let's stop the spending and get a reset. And then everybody started thinking, well, let's get the Senate, and we can get the 55 in the Senate, and Lee Zeldin can win New York. I think those were all kind of pipe dreams. But what do you think about the candidates that Trump put up? And I think they were rejected out of common sense too.
Most of them seems like they were J.D. Vance in Ohio won, whereas the other sort of big Trump Senate candidate, Masters in Arizona, is probably going to lose. Yeah, you know, I think it's a lost opportunity for the Republicans in large measure because they were so tied to Trump. Trump himself is powerful, and I think Trump, and I know we'll probably talk about DeSantis, I think Trump could still win a Republican nomination going forward for president. But you know, when you start trying to put that, reach his tentacles into all these state races and cherry pick people, they're not Trump. Trump is really the one guy who can do Trump, and he's put a lot of candidates out there that he might have liked, and they might have said whatever he wanted them to say, but they weren't going to work for the people in those states. And I think the Republicans probably could have had a better raft of candidates to do even better in the House and in the Senate.
I think Dr. Oz was the perfect candidate, honestly, and I think
Obviously not.
I think I mean, it was questionable. I thought how the Biden administration was over there, pushing his opponent. I mean, I can't believe that guy is in office right now. But I think that he would have gone on to maybe even be president. So I'm very disappointed that he lost. And I don't think it was because of Trump. I think it was because of the media painting him a certain way that was very unfair.
So there was, I was surprised too, because I didn't spend a lot of time in my life watching Dr. Oz on TV. But he seems smart. Obviously, he's comfortable with TV. Those are good qualifications. I was watching, it was on CNN at the time, looking at exit polls from Pennsylvania. And the thing that blew me away, and they commented on it, was that 55% of Pennsylvanians thought that Oz had not lived in Pennsylvania long enough to be senator. That's obviously, so he got, some of those people voted for him anyhow, because whatever, Fetterman, whatever, they don't like Fetterman either, he's having trouble speaking. But Tapper was funny. The tri-state area will appreciate this. He said, I don't think the problem is so much that he just wasn't from Pennsylvania, but he's from Jersey. He said it's not like he was from Connecticut or something. He's from Jersey.
What Matt said makes a lot of sense, and common sense, to use your phrase. Dr. Oz is a very capable man. But there was a basic problem he had. He really wasn't from Pennsylvania, and the Democrats hit him pretty hard on it. Look, going back to President Trump, it wasn't a good night for him, and because some of his candidates lost, even though they won the primaries. And I think there's going to be a real rising chorus in the Republican Party now about whether President Trump should be the nominee in 2024. I think he probably can get the nomination. But a lot of Republicans are going to begin to ask, and not just sort of old Bush Republicans, but conservative Republicans, can he win? And it's a really good question.
They'll see that some of the Republican governors, incumbents, who did their own thing, in some cases, like Georgia with Brian Kemp, had to walk the tightrope of sort of telling Trump to shove off, but still being kind of pro-Trump at the same time.
Got it.
Did great.
Yep.
They were their own people, and they did great. Their voters saw that.
All right.